Namaskaram everyone. We will discuss a very important and practical topic that sometimes people choose to do the spiritual practices on their own. So some important informations will be passed on in this video. So if you are in a hurry, we can quickly go through the conclusions of this video. So the conclusions about doing spiritual practices are that spiritual practices are designed very seriously by the masters. Never do it willy-nilly on their own. These actually are very precise and minute surgeries in the mind, so in the body and the other layers. So please never do on your own. Reading from a book, watching a YouTube video, or without the guidance of someone who is already ahead than you or who have reached to the fruits. Now always find a master, and master is required for almost all. 99.99% people requires a master in the spiritual journey. And if you are very unfortunate in case no master is available, so just gather the experiences and go for understanding rather than the practices, rather than doing the practices. And the important thing is people with mental disease, having any kind of mental issues, phobias, bad health, so should stay away. They should consult an expert first before even doing any spiritual practices. And the last thing is do not clean yourself if you are not dirty. So with these things in background, we will proceed with our video. Yes, so what are the spiritual practices? These are basically tools. These are basically the tools given by the masters to seekers, so that a seeker proceeds towards the liberation in his life, the complete freedom, or self realization, knowing the true self. So these are the assisting tools which are provided by the master to a seeker, so that he prepares in the meantime. The next sensible thing about the spiritual practices is that which no one tells, that there is an idea in the mind of a seeker that he will go gradually on the path to enlightenment, and it appeals very much to the mind of seeker. In the world he comes across all the things, and a seeker knows that without effort nothing is achieved. And in the world everything is by the effort. So a seeker assumes by default that the same rules will be applicable in the inner world also, but it is not so. uh, in the outer world, with the effort, he may start from bottom to top, okay, like getting the success, you are getting rich, you want to buy something, so that will happen progressively, okay, from 0 to 50% to 100%. But when the seeker in ignorance assumes and applies the same concept of gradual enlightenment, then he is in illusion. There is nothing called gradual enlightenment. It's like love, okay. So either you do not know or you know it. There is nothing in between. This is the complete thing. There is nothing in between. Now then, what are the spiritual practices for? These spiritual practices will come under the preparation part. Now you will assume that why this preparation part is not included in the final goal, is because this preparation part is completely will come under the experiences. Let's say your complete world is an experience only, a form of perception, but these experiences are being observed by some observer, which is the self. But this self is beyond these experiences. in order to understand, because all these experiences come under time and space. Okay, but this is self is beyond time. So if you ask someone how much time does it take to shift from experiences to the self, 0 second, not even the time, it is just already there. Seekers do not get this very simple thing that to go from experiences to the experiencer or to the self or to your being, there are many names to this. It just takes no time. It is already there, even when, because it is eternal. It is already there. No time is required. Then but so many spiritual people are just doing the practices. We will take a look at it very soon. So this idea of gradual enlightenment appeals to the mind of the seeker. It has nothing to do with the truth. Now second is, not even a single moment is needed to attain it. Still method appeals. If the complete truth is just being told to you and still you are not able to get, then obviously master will have to give some method, and that's why the method appeals to masses. And when you are already that which you want to become, one cannot achieve the goal. Just a turning in is required. Just a simple being. It is so simple, that is why people miss it. If it would have been, if the fruits of the spirituality, like self-realization, knowledge of the illusion, knowledge of the oneness, if they would have been difficult, then all the people would have already conquered it. But they are so simple that they miss it. In fact, so simple that you are already that which you want to become. So there is nothing to achieve in this goal. And the method, sometimes methods are such that methods tires you to see the point. If you are too active, they will just give you a method till the time to get tired of them. And methods obviously do not deliver the truth. They will take you to a point where you can jump into the truth. The truth will never be delivered by these methods. So sometimes spiritual methods are the objects mind needed to run after. In the outside world, we give a job to run after some earning of money. You run after, or you run after the money. But in spirituality, if your habit is too bad, then we also give you an object to run after. So you can see it's a waste of time also, but what can we do? The seeker has to be given methods. The highest type of seeker, if you remember Mahavira also, the understanding is the only sadhana. just understand what is being said. No practices are required, really. Okay. So methods are like removing thorn of ignorance with another thorn. So these spiritual practices are also like a thorn. So what do you do with the thorn? If you have been uh, bitten by the thorn of ignorance, then use the another thorn and then throw both. Throw, in the end you throw both the practices and the ignorance also. So when, if you see someone doing lot of practices, then just assume that there is a ample amount of ignorance which calls for the need to practices. There is nothing to practice actually, but still there are thousands of methods. So we will see the apparent purpose of the practices. One would assume that his spiritual progress will be there once he goes on a particular path. A seeker is known to have this information that the realization of the ultimate truth and liberation from all the ignorances. There is self-realization, enlightenment. There is knowledge of the oneness, which is also called as Advait. Okay. Then knowledge of the illusion, how the world is illusion, knowledge of the experiences, and knowledge of the Maya, how it is Maya, how what is the world. Then spiritual practices sometimes they do because fruits are, fruits of the spiritual journey is liberation, bliss, peace, evolution, and end of the suffering. So some of the methods are employed to end the suffering so that seeker can easily see see the things clearly. But when the fruits are such, then seekers assume that by doing the spiritual practices these fruits will be attained by him. Sometimes these spiritual practices are done to have a mastery over their body, mind, energy, etc. It's a very interesting field when you want to have mastery over the body, the mind, some even Sadhguru says that if you have the mastery over your body, he says around 30 to 40% your life is under your control. If you have mastery over the mind, up to 60 to 70%, and if you have mastery over your energies, then 100% of the life is in your control. So spiritual practices are also sometimes done to accomplish this. Now same thing, the science of matter and etc. Sometimes this is done to explore the mind, which is, and matter also, matter is also mind if you can say. Sometimes reducing misery. That's why these are some of the common apparent purpose of the practices. Now we will take a look at the examples of practice from the various spiritual paths. Okay, there can be occult, there are devotional practices like ISKCON and many other ways. There are 112 methods of meditation, which is famously known as Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. There is Kriya Yoga, there is Hatha Yoga, there is Pranayama. There are many methods which are taught in Osho centers, Isha centers, Osho Dhara, Rishikesh, groups, and many more. Thousands, endless number of places you can find in this country, abroad. So there are many methods. There are local masters having, teaching local methods. There is Buddhist practices, vipassana, mindfulness, compassion, etc. There are awareness practices, there are surprise and stop techniques by Master Gurdjieff, there are past life regressions, and thousands of programs like this. There are dance techniques in the spirituality, there is fasting, there is Reiki, there is prayer, there is connecting with the nature, there are, consecrated temples in India, the big names that you hear, the Somnath temple, the Pashupatinath temple, and so many. There are rituals, there are chanting, there are many forms of meditation. You can come across monks, sannyasis. There are many methods used by the masters, which are very unique to them. Depends upon the time and the people the master come across. And the important thing is the masters always keep inventing. One very good example is like say Osho invented the dynamic meditation when he saw that foreign seekers are unable to sit for even for the meditation of half an hour, 1 hour. So he devised a technique to make them relax. But the same ignorant people in our country, they kept doing this dynamic meditation for, I have seen people doing just for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. They are just doing it and doing it again without knowing the purpose. So what we just saw is the examples of practices from various spiritual paths. Now we will come as to how to choose. See, spiritual practice is a kind of medicine. Okay, and each person have his own unique mental afflictions which he wants to cut through, and life reference level of each person is very unique. So do not assume that if one method is given it will be applicable to all. No, it will not be even applicable for the two people. If it is applicable to the two people, then the effect will be unique in them, which will just show you that life's reference level of each person is very unique. And the conclusion is that if a seeker wants to choose, then seeker cannot choose for himself. Never. This is the final answer. Do not ever choose a spiritual practice by yourself. Seek the guidance. Okay. So is start of any random spiritual practice recommended? There are crazy people out there, who just do everything, whatever they want to. So my advice is never do them. Okay. Never do any random spiritual practices. You do not know the purpose. You do not know the fruits. Okay. The consequences will be imminent if a powerful spiritual practice has been in your hands, then, and if you practice it, the consequences are very imminent. Body and mental issues can arise, okay, which will be difficult to handle later. Then another method will be required. So fear is one of the consequences. Many people, they close their rooms in the night or in the evening. They will just sit for the meditation, a very simple meditation, breath meditation and all, and the fear will grip, like they will run from their room. Okay. So never, please never do this. The psychological issues can be there, the imbalance in the mind. There can be irreparable changes in the life, because the inner structures of the mind are so fine, so delicate, that once you change them even through the pranayama, then the repair is actually possibility of the repair is very less sometimes. So the changes are irreparable, and many a times no cure is possible, and sometimes they may result in delusion, madness, lack of clarity, and so on. So my very humble advice is that never do this. Okay. Never start any random spiritual practices unless guided. Now, who can identify obstacles in a seeker? Only a master. Okay. Only a master can identify what are the obstacles. And why we are talking about obstacles? Because even the name of Guru removes the darkness. Removes darkness. Will he give you something? No. You already have that. Always remember this. Nobody can give you anything in the spirituality. You already have all the things. So, but what they will help? They will help in removing the obstacles. So, who can identify these obstacles? Only a master. So, try some gurus. Okay. Here, actually, he will do an evaluation for you, for your whole life, for your present status of your body, mind, and other faculties. He will do the evaluation. Sometimes a very general evaluation, just to share with you. He can look at your behavior, your speech, your thoughts, your relations, your entertainment, your mental afflictions, and many other criteria. Your level of energy, your which faculty is very heightened in you, that could be converted into a spiritual door, and your curiosity level, and there can be many criteria depending on the perception of the master. So he can choose to evaluate you on those parameters, and accordingly he will guide you. So let's say if your thought, you are too overthinking, then he cannot tell you the truth just in some sentences. No, he will have to first calm you down. Okay. So what are the some of suggested path by the masters? When I said try some gurus, then you will be going through some of these paths. So just check if hatha yoga appeals to you. The path where you go with the body and other things, the path of the devotion, joining a religious community, just check. Okay, I'm not saying just go and join, just check if you have a attraction towards any of them, if you feel comfortable hearing these paths, just browse through them like you do the window shopping. There is path of action, there is path of occult, path of tantra. This occult is path of tantra. There is path of yoga, there is path of service and donation. You can worship the deities, the spiritual warriors, the path of energies, the simple surrender, the path of knowledge, Advait, self improvement, and many more. So, these are some of the common paths that are suggested by the masters. Okay. So, accordingly, based on these paths, the spiritual practices will be given to you. Now, can a seeker choose practice for himself? No. Always remember this. You cannot choose any practice for yourself. You can browse through these paths, take the guidance, and then practices will be given to you. Never, ever, ever choose the spiritual path for yourself. Okay, you do not know what lies in front of you. Can hit and trial in practices works? Probable. It's very, very probable. If you have nothing, if you are so unlucky, so unfortunate that no master is available in your vicinity, then probably, but in the end only a master will be able to help you. You will be wasting your time. Okay. Can only deliver some fancy experiences which will just last for some time, which will lead to more confusion. Previously you are having a very happy life, now you attempted some meditation, and then the experience was such that you saw all the white light and different colors and sound of many things, this and that, maybe some energy got restructured, and there are so many models and experiences that fancy experience can trap you for 10 years also. And these fancy experiences, by in hit and trial, they will be so close, you will feel like, oh, it's so awesome, what experience I had. And this if this experience can keep you busy in thinking, because whenever such a fanciful experience happen, you will be seduced to think about it. You cannot actually forget it. So this will lead to loss of time, effort. So only confusion will be the result. So I will suggest never even go just randomly choosing practices. Now, can book videos, YouTube help in practices? No. Again, because words cannot be understood without experiences. If I write a word here, samadhi, even if I give you the definition of it, what you are going to understand from this word? Absolutely nothing. This is just a word for you, maybe a fanciful word which you will go after, but words cannot be understood without experiences. So people watch these videos that you will attain this, you will do this, but you cannot understand the words. I have, when I started reading the Patanjali Sutras, I actually misread it for 9 times. Some 4 5 years I just kept on reading in the different ways, and whenever any higher experience happens, the previous translation which I made was completely washed away. But once you reach there, then you will understand each and everything that is written there. So the experience comes first. Always remember that this is a experimental knowledge. Spirituality is the experimental knowledge. If that comes from by doing the experiences. So these books, videos, YouTubes won't be able to help you much. And there are so many books, so much data. If in YouTube you hit meditation, there will be mm, not less than 10,000 videos, and you won't be able to select for yourself. So never use these. So in fact, reading too many books will interfere in your progress. Little inspiration is okay. Little inspiration is okay, Books never gives a customized answer required for a seeker. If you open up a book, how will that book tell you that what is applicable to you from that book? So never ever refer a book other than for inspiration. You will waste your time. Okay, search for a master. Many readings may give some clarity in the meaning. Okay, only just you will be, you can get close, but nothing like the essence of those readings. You won't get there on your own. Now same thing, a realized person also write books for confirmation. When a person is realized, then he writes the book, so that the if a seeker is curious to just want to confirm that whether he has arrived or not, he can read and take a confirmation from the book, words written by others. Like Upanishads cannot be understood by a seeker. Only those who attain can understand the Upanishads. There are I think more than 100 Upanishads are there. You just pick any one of them. Okay, even the simplest one. Some Upanishads even have hardly for 10 line Upanishads. Just go through them. You won't be able to understand them unless you attain. Not even halfway, because there is nothing halfway. Either you have or you don't have the knowledge. These are the only two options. Now coming to, can one get enlightened with practices? No, these are the preparatory parts. But yes, practice help in some ways to make a person ready. And to make the person ready is to make him free from the ignorances that he is having, the beliefs, the indoctrination he is having regarding life, whatever the society has told him, okay, from the childhood, that you are a male, you are a this, you are that, or this is how the nature of the world is. But even in the science you can see that once some hypothesis is presented, in another 10-20 years, another experimentation, the previous hypothesis is broken down and the progress happens. But the society, actually, to a human child, the ignorance is fed so much that practices seems to make sense in shedding the ignorance. Practices are not the natural companion of the spiritual goals. If practices are looking good to you, then assume that you are a little diseased. They are not the natural companion of spiritual goals. In fact, when Buddha left all the practices, when Buddha, all he could do was practices for the 12 years or so. But when he left all the practices, then he achieved. So practices are not the natural companion. The goal, very important thing is, the goal is already within the seeker. If he just sit, okay, if he just see silently, the things are there. Even a small pointer for the self-realization is enough. So enlightenment practices nothing natural relation. Okay, now does a seeker has to do spiritual practices for life? If, let's say, if a meditation is given to you, do you have to do it for life? Because let us explore this. In the end, there are no practices. The doer of the practices get dissolved. I will not go into the detail of it. If it is applicable to you, you will get the answer in just this one pointer, that the important thing is the doer of the practice get dissolved. Then who will be doing the practice? No one. So no person remains finally. Who will practice? Ego is an illusion. This will be seen continuously by you. Some paths may require many lifetimes, otherwise no such needs. For example, path of energies may require some lifetime to attain, but otherwise there is no such need. Okay, and so it also again depends on the case to case basis, from one seeker to another. Keep doing the practices for 2 lifetimes, then in the third he may attain. It happens. You can verify these things with the direct experience. Now with knowledge, the practice finally drops. Okay, now you can remember, many masters hardly does practices. Have you ever seen some master doing the practice for enlightenment? If you know the masters, you will see they will go and carry, they will. There is a very famous quote that before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. No difference. The difference is a very qualitative, very subjective difference is there. In the outer, nothing can be perceived. Okay, that's why in the Shastras, no behavior is prescribed for the enlightened one. Some practices as a spiritual lifestyle may continue for others inspiration. Sometimes the master is there, he will do the same practices in front of them so that the seekers also get interest. So it's play for them. Many outcomes of the spiritual practices become natural finally. Let's say if somebody is doing the experiments on the sleep, then he will get so bliss that he will get attached to the practices in the daytime. He will want to go into that state again and again, like thoughtlessness state, the nirvikalp samadhi and all. But the thing is, if one have the knowledge, then 24 hours, then that state can be there. So spiritual practices may initially give you a taste which is very close to the final goal, but the outcome of whatever you get from the spiritual practices will be finally become natural to you. You won't find any difference much. And if you are one important thing is, if some practice has matured for you, it will drop automatically. I'm not saying that you can drop this thing on your own. If some master has given you a practice, then just go on doing those practices and they will drop on their own. This will happen. Okay, this will happen. You need not do these things. So how to know my practices are delivering? As some very basic parameters are, as long as the seeker gets benefits, it can be advised to continue, but still ask your master. But all the practices will eventually end, there is no doubt about this. Okay, some practices are for body health which can still be done in the yoga. Now the conclusion about the spiritual practices, these are very seriously designed. Okay, the purpose of spiritual practices, the goal, the time duration, okay, and other things are very seriously designed. So never do it willy nilly. Always find a master. This is the crux of this video. Always find a master if you are interested in spiritual practices. Master is required for almost all. In case many people, even like me for some years, in case no master is available, then gather experiences and go for understanding rather than practices. This understanding will be the outcome. So, and people with mental disease, phobia, bad health to stay away. Even if you know some practices, then never ever give to the people who are having some mental phobias and diseases, because that practice may make their life very very miserable. Okay, and finally, do not clean if not dirty. Do you wash your house if it is already clean? No. Same is with the spiritual practices. Okay, namaskaram. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it will be helpful for you.
Chidananda Rupam Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda